Oh,
You're the first one that clicked on the link. We're
Woo.
live. Oh, here comes Mike.
within seconds.
Here comes JR. We're live, everybody. What's going on, JR?
Oh.
JR, can't hear you.
Oh, I don't think we have anything to talk about today, do we?
Not much. Not much. Oh, you know what? I forgot my books. Here. Oh, no, they're right here. Never mind.
Oh,
got them.
I forgot I was going to do the instead of the headset, I was going to do the microphone this time around. So forgot
Instead
to turn
of-
it on.
Instead of oh, where's your audio coming? Are you not wearing a headset?
No, not today. Not right now. I'm not.
Oh, you're using your camera mic or something?
Yeah, I'm using the mic I'm using this.
Oh, hold on.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
You aren't quiet, so that shouldn't be a problem. Mike, what are you doing?
I'm just trying to.
What are you doing? There you go.
It's a little bit off of my camera here or something. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to stay for, the whole thing. I mean, because we are talking about the review of the Avengers first, right?
Mm-hmm. And then we're doing the 2 books. Are you
Okay,
doing the free comic book day on the second show?
I'm not sure if the thing is, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to stay for the review thing, depending on how long how long the Avengers thing goes for.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, I know Zach has already got like what's it called, he's got that whole thing. I think he's got the stuff for, he was able to find it. So
Okay.
so that's cool.
So we're doing
So
we're
my
doing
clone
the
will
movie,
take over.
we're doing the movie first.
Yeah, we're doing the movie first. Yeah.
All right, hang on a second.
Okay.
Because
Let me go over to YouTube and see what the YouTube people are commenting on. So far, we've got like
we just started.
10 viewers so far.
Okay.
When Mike Becomes a Dwarf by Neil. What's up? MM09. What's going on, sir?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, just to kind of go against the grain again, I actually do have a hat now.
Oh, let me see.
Okay.
Oh, you just did like a Michael Jackson to put that thing on. That looks
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's probably a little bit big on my head or something like that.
Hey, there's Spencer. What's up, dude?
But yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to wear necessarily the whole thing, unless everyone else goes.
YouTubers, do you want Mike to wear the hat? Comment now, 13 people.
I know I kind of have this whole Matt Drudge thing going on with this thing.
Neil says, Jesus Christ, Mike.
Oh, there it is. We're gonna talk about
Why would you wear a fedora unironically, Mike? Cool,
I don't
cool
know.
Hat, Mike.
I keep track of what people are saying. It's running on a few seconds. It's running on a little bit of a delay, but that tells me.
Yeah,
what
they usually.
say.
Yeah, usually they kind of tend to
ask questions or whatever. So
We've got 14 viewers at the moment.
See, my hat brought in 4 more people, Brad.
The hat has more fans. The fat hat, yeah.
The fat hat, yes.
The fat hat, man. Funny. Well, where's George? Where's Zach? George is never late. Actually, we have one review on iTunes I wanted to read. I'll pull that up while we're waiting.
Okay.
Spencer, what's up, man?
There's George. What's going on, sir?
No, not much. Hi, Ashley. Hi, JR. Spencer.
hello.
Say
Hi,
hello
Mike.
to the 17 viewers.
Hi, viewers. So I didn't sleep well last night
Uh-huh.
at all because I'm wrestling with allergies, and then I had to get up and I had to go play D&D for 6 hours today. At one point, I was so tired I fell asleep during D&D
Oh,
at the table.
We've had players that actually had happened that to us before. I know.
Aren't you
George and I-
DMing too?
No, not this game.
Oh,
No,
okay.
No, this is a game where I'm
When
playing,
your DM falls asleep.
and I
Oh,
felt-
no.
DM can't fall asleep. That's impossible.
What's DM? Direct message?
No,
Dungeon
No,
DM.
Dungeon Master.
Yeah, DM
Or
is the
Game
guy
Master.
that like.
Yeah.
Or it's I'm sorry, that was incredibly sexist of me. DM Dungeon Master is the person that runs the game.
Mhm.
Anyway, so yeah, I fell asleep. I was mortified. I was just like aghast at, because that's a faux pas.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
a faux pas. It's a big faux pas.
Well, George, we've had that happen on.
We've had it happen on
our own session. Yeah.
And so it was embarrassing, and so I tried to get like a little nap in when I got home. Still couldn't do it, so I baked some chicken. So I'm full, but I mean I am worn out and cranky. And if we could make this like not 9 hours,
you know what? Ideally, what this would be: an hour for Infinity War, an hour for reviews.
Perfect. Let's do this.
Yes.
I'm excited to be part of this plan.
That's my ideal time for every episode. 1 hour.
Where's Joyner? I thought he was all excited to get shot down by me again.
I just
I know.
texted him.
Where's my backup?
Your backup called in sick. I don't know.
If that's your backup.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need backup. I'm going alone.
All right.
That's pretty
So
good.
are George and I going to be the only people wearing hats in this whole thing?
I don't have a hat in the room.
No,
except for that
you don't
really
have to wear
tight
one.
Spider-Man's stocking cap.
McNulty, why are you wearing a hat? You lose a bet to your barber? What's happening there?
No. See, my hair's fine. My hair's fine. It's just like I figured I'd just go against the grain and try to.
Oh, that's
put
fine.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't wear a hat. I'm just saying, was there a reason? Was there like were you
Oh,
about,
no.
Oh, Ashley. Let's look at Ashley's hat.
were you about to step out with a gal? Oh, Ashley, I like that.
That looks like Skittles.
I want to eat that.
Don't eat my hat. Oh my god.
It's so colorful. It looks like candy. I want to eat your head.
It looks like
Sprinkles.
sprinkles.
Colorful, you Buddy the Elf.
It's very sprinkly. I'm like,
Yeah, I
nom,
want
nom.
to pour syrup all over your head and just eat your
Oh,
head.
there he is. There he is. Zach,
Hey guys.
where you been? We've been waiting on you.
I'm sorry.
All 26 viewers beat you. All right, we ready?
Wait, what the hell is McNulty wearing?
Yeah.
Don't worry.
I love it.
Why are you stealing my stick? No.
He does that about McNulty, but he doesn't notice his Ashley's candy head.
No,
Oh my
of course not.
Did JR just put on a hat? JR, you had a hat?
What is that, Ashley?
Oh, now he notices Ashley's candy
I heard
head.
my name.
Neil in chat says, taste the rainbow, Ashley.
Just not on my head.
Is Skittles in the business of making hats, says Action Gamer on YouTube. All right, 27 viewers. You guys must want to hear what we want to talk, our 2 cents about Infinity War, huh?
Everyone.
All right.
everybody
Oh, you know what, Brad? Before we do that,
I haven't put anything on the front page yet and YouTube. Let's do that.
yeah, well, let's do that. But also, folks out there in YouTube land and people who are listening to this podcast, we have a Discord server now.
Yes, we do.
And if you want to find it, just go to the Crawl Space Facebook page. I think it's still pinned at the top.
Yes.
I unpinned it because
Oh, good. Then no one will find it because you still haven't put it on the damn front page.
You should be able to.
you can put it on. You can only pin one thing, evidently. And
No, you can do it now. You can pin multiple things.
all right, sorry.
Oh, good.
I wasn't having much luck.
Good. It's lost now, and it's not even on the front page. You had one job.
You can write a post on the front page if you want.
I set up the whole damn thing.
Send
We're
me the
already fighting.
Berryman, in all seriousness, send me the link and I'll put it up in the menu because it needs to be.
There you
Done,
There you
dude.
go.
Here.
Thank you.
We haven't even started talking about the movie. We're fine already.
No doubt.
Oh,
That's because George Berryman's a.
Go hug Tony Stark. Come on.
He's an angry man. That's
I
what he
think
is.
Tony Stark could use a hug.
Especially at the end of this movie.
yeah.
Hold on. I'm still messing with the front page, trying to put the YouTube thing up there. One sec.
Da, 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 da.
There we go. Where is there it is, YouTube.
Do you even know how to YouTube there, Douglas?
You know, it's every day, bro.
Oh, whoa!
Better watch it. I'll floss on you.
somebody is super, feisty tonight.
I hang out with
Mhm.
teenagers.
Here's why I
I'm
was late. I
hipper.
went to the store to make sure I got a proper amount of caffeine, so that way I can.
Let me see your beverages.
Yes.
Look, pull up your beverages. What are you drinking? Oh my, your pack. What's in that drink?
Called Pakistan. It's called Vanilla Coke, and I might by the end of it,
vanilla Coke.
I might be putting some Johnny Walker in it by the time I get done
There
with
we
it.
go.
Oh,
Spidey glass with some MD. There you go. Call me doctor.
Is it regular or is it?
It's the diet.
Oh,
There you
I
go.
don't understand.
Do the do.
No. If you're gonna do the do, you do it the real.
Okay, George, were you able to put it up?
Yeah, it's on
Okay.
the.
All right.
As my voice cracks as I hit puberty. Yeah, Brad, it's up on the. Up
It's
on
a good thing.
the now.
Thank you, George.
You're welcome. Hey, you're welcome, buddy. I'm ready for prom.
Okay. Are we all ready? Well, we don't have Spencer anymore. Is Spencer
No,
coming back?
he went to get something to drink. He'll be back.
Okay, we'll wait for him.
Is he a Scotch man like his dad, or what is he?
No.
He's kind of into gin and tonic right now.
He likes
Oh,
Snoop
okay.
Dogg records, huh?
We started him on screwdrivers, so he couldn't taste the alcohol, and he's kind of working his way up.
Dark Raven, I
Mhm.
apologize that you're diabetic and you can't drink Mountain Dew. I'm so sorry.
Oh.
Hornacek, the cup is full of vodka.
Well, you could, but it's not going to end well for you if you drink the Diet Mountain Dew.
Action
what?
Gamer.
You know, the crappy thing is that even if you do Diet Mountain Dew,
Mhm.
which doesn't have sugar, it just has the aspartame. Apparently, the aspartame is like worse.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
worse.
It
That's
is.
why. That's
They've
why.
done. They've tested. They have tested this on lab rats, and they've basically,
Wait, you,
kind of went
you
insane.
know, this just in. We're all gonna die.
Oh, sure.
I mean,
The next time somebody says,
I mean-
the next time somebody says science, is there anything it can't do? Slap them. Slap
No,
them in the face.
there's a song from the '90s called "The Old Dogs," and it involved Jerry Reed and who you love, George, from Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh, Jerry Reed is legendary.
By the way, CMT tonight, Smokey and the Bandit marathon 1, 2, and 3 on tonight.
Oh, really? All you need is the
Really?
one.
I agree. Oh, I agree.
2 and 3 are hard to watch.
Was that on like on? Is that like on AMC or something? Or what's
CMT,
go-
CMT tonight.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, anyway,
that
Jerry
makes sense,
Reed, Bobby Bear, Waylon Jennings, and one other one I can't think of. They made an album called Old Dogs, and one of the best songs.
Willie
On that,
Nelson.
the what?
I think it was Willie Nelson, wasn't it?
No.
No, you're
Oh,
thinking of the Highwaymen, Zach.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Anyway,
Mhm.
they're one of my favorite songs on that album is you're gonna don't worry, no matter what you do, you're still gonna die, still gonna die, still gonna die.
Guy Lombardo had a song from back in the day called "Enjoy Yourself. It's Later Than You Think."
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Very, very.
I've
funny,
heard that one.
Very funny and a very dark song.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
My kind of song.
Hang on. I need to. Do
You need a bigger nose hole. Wow, that just sounds dirty.
Hmm.
YouTubers, what's going on?
What do you want him to go to run to the garage and get a Dremel? You sadist? What?
Oh.
Oh my god.
911, what's your emergency? I drew a nose hole in my nose.
Oh, they're talking about symbiote or from the
Symbiote.
Venom trailer. How they print symbiote.
Symbiote. You'd think someone involved with the movie would not call it that.
No, Brad.
They can't
It's
do
Sony,
anything right.
dude. Yeah. What? Actually?
They can't do anything right.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
man.
Sony. Oh no, Marvel came out again today and like doubled down on the whole. Oh yeah, Venom's not part of us thing.
They're like,
Yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah, they
"You can't
came
sit
out.
with us."
Yeah, so in
George
other-
is sitting
so
at
in
another
other wor-
table.
so in other words, they're already predicting that this
He's
thing's
not
going to be
with
a
us.
flop.
Man.
right? So
Are we
they're
going to
just like,
talk about the Venom trailer tonight?
No, why? Why would we?
Mhm.
Why?
Here, let's talk about it right now. What'd you think of it?
It was
Oh,
better than the
God.
last one. I can say that objectively. It was better than the last one.
Yes, I would agree.
Well,
I'm gonna.
I will say. Oh, go ahead, Zach.
I'm gonna channel my inner Kevin Cushing. This was prison ass. It looks terrible. I mean, it's
Yeah.
one of those things where like,
The Venom mask and the tongue look great. The rest of it looked
no,
awful.
no,
The tongue does not look great.
The tongue doesn't look great.
the tongue looks
No.
like a dick.
The tongue needs to be censored.
Oh, whoa.
And Elizabeth Banks agreed with
Oh, hold on. Spencer is wearing a clone sweaty hoodie.
what?
Yes.
Oh my
yes.
gosh!
I
Jay-
love you, Spencer.
Jay-
I hate
J.R. Fettinger, get your house in order. What the hell is going on over there?
Oh, here it comes. Oh, I thought he was going to put the hoodie on just to tick off George.
Do it.
Do it. Oh,
Yes.
that's
Oh my God.
George's kryptonite, Spencer.
I knew he was.
You have made my year, Spencer.
I knew he was a lost cause today because I took him to free comic shop book day or whatever at our shop, and I let him get a couple things, and he came out with the first paperback of Spectacular Spider-Man with Zdarsky, and I said, "Didn't I raise you better?"
Yeah, I blame the parent. I blame the parent.
Question: where did you get it?
The kid. You do the best you can. You raise them right, you teach them ethics, you teach them morals, and then they read DC Comics. I mean,
All right. We are 15 minutes past what we wanted to start with, so let's get started.
Yep.
Woo.
All right, we ready?
Yes.
Coming down in 3, 2. Hey, Crawl Spacers, welcome to our Infinity War review episode. Warning, spoilers. We're going to talk about some stuff.
Spoilers.
Let's introduce the panel. We've got George. What's going on, George?
Hey, everybody, how's it going?
We've got Ashley. What's going on, Ashley?
I'm doing a lot better than George.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
that evil laugh you heard was Zach. What's going on, Zach?
Oh, my year has been made.
Why?
It's because
Well,
you'll find out in a second.
Yeah.
It's not because of Ashley's candy head.
No.
You need to watch the YouTube video, audio listeners. We all, most of us have unique hats on, including Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Well, Brad, I think I have the perfect theme song for this podcast.
Okay, what is it?
Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind.
All right, I will put that at the beginning of the episode because you demanded it. Very nice. And we have father and son tonight. We have JR and Spencer. What's going on, gentlemen?
I don't feel so good.
Why? Here, hug Spencer and disappear. Yeah.
No, Spencer should be hugging him.
And for again,
No, we don't do that.
for those audio only listeners, Spencer is wearing a Ben Riley hoodie.
Now I know why tigers eat their young.
My year has just been made. I want to know where he got it. I want to know when he got it.
Yeah, Spencer, where'd you get that hoodie?
some like knockoff website that I found on Facebook.
Those knockoff T-shirts. I've seen those ads. Yep.
Yeah.
At least they mailed it to you. They didn't just take your money. Very good.
I'm applauding him.
There you go. All right, and also we have 29 take that back, 30 viewers watching us live on YouTube as we record.
You know what, Brad? If you're gonna insist on constantly calling out how many viewers we have, I'm gonna insist that you do it like the count.
31 viewers. Here we go.
30 viewers.
All right. LDS Warren Heaven on YouTube chat says, my wife made me a Scarlet Spider pullover hoodie. Look at that. It's a husband and wife thing too, George.
Okay, that is creepy.
Get a lawyer.
Does she have a sister?
Before my goodness. Okay, before we get started, I want to read a iTunes review related to this episode.
That thing that powers our podcast.
Yeah. Avengers Infinity War is the subject title on iTunes, written by Swatch66. They give us 5 out of 5 stars. They don't really review it, but they made a comment to George.
Oh,
They said the whole time watching the movie, I was picturing George shitting himself about how much he hated Spidey's portrayal. Hopefully, Brad and the gang have the tranquilizer gun locked and loaded for the next podcast.
you know what's funny is that when we played D&D this past Monday, McNulty pretty much said the same exact thing. He said he was watching the movie and he was like, "And George will hate that."
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was doing
I was like, I was envisioning you, George, like ripping the theater seats out of like the bolts and just like or beating up like Robert Downey Jr.'s like cardboard cutout.
Evidently, Justin Paris in YouTube chat says he was thinking the exact same thing. A lot of people have you in their brain, George. What's that about?
I have steadfastly refused to let George live rent free in my head.
There's a lot of
unlike the rest of you.
Trust me, I'm there. When you're posting like fail posts up on our Facebook review thing, like this is how you trigger George, and I'm like, I have to look at it. I'm like, what? What is it? And then you're like, no.
Okay, I'm going to guide the discussion a little bit. First
Wait,
off,
that's Joyner's fault.
what? What?
That's, rein in your spastic seal.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go around the horn for grades, and that'll give us a good idea of what we think of it as we do the discussion. So, Ashley, what would your grade be of Infinity War?
I can give it nothing less than an A.
Okay. George.
I gave it a C, not a C minus. I think I just gave it like a regular C.
Okay. Mike.
It's really close to an A, but thinking about it more, it's probably more like a B plus in some, I mean, just as a greater whole. There's parts of it that are better than others, but
Okay. Zach.
Gave it an A minus.
A minus. Spencer.
A minus.
A minus. JR.
I give it a B.
B. My grade would be a C plus at times, B minus at other times.
Okay, this is going to be interesting.
Well, here's the thing: Marvel finally screwed up because they didn't just start getting make sure they were getting Spider-Man wrong. Suddenly they're getting the Hulk wrong, and Brad came out of there triggered. As soon as Brad came out, I was getting nasty gram texts.
Well,
it was like, I will write my congressman.
Well, I would point out a correction. I mean, there probably was more Hulk in the movie during the movie, and that was when Brad probably reacted to what happened to the Hulk.
Yeah. We'll get to the Hulk a little bit. This isn't the Hulk smash space; it's the crawl space.
Yeah.
Right. So let's focus on Spider-Man specifically, then we'll break out into the topics. What's the biggest pro out of Spider-Man scenes in the film? Zach, you had a pretty high grade. What was your biggest pro?
No AI.
Yep.
The fact that there wasn't an AI to distract from the overall narrative, I felt like that was a pro for me.
Bernardo said, "I thought of Brad when the Hulk was wimping out." Very funny. That's funny. Mike, what? Anybody else? Any other big pros out of the Spider-Man scene specifically?
I will say that I did. I mean, mainly it's just from a comic book reader perspective. I did like the fact when both Spider-Man and Doctor Strange are like on the screen at the same time. Essentially, that's probably at that point. It's like, oh, you finally got two Steve Ditko creations together in one thing,
but the dialogue is so crappy.
I mean, I think they could have done more with that thing. I did like more or less like Spider-Man kind of more like in action necessarily. We'll get into some other
Spider-Man
what he
beat
said
ass in this movie, and it was nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't necessarily. I mean, and also I would say that even though I didn't quite care for the idea, like, oh, them going for the Iron Spider suit, I think I did like it. Kind of grew on me, and I did like the way it was kind of how they do detachable, like retractable, like leg things did work, and how they were utilized. So, I mean, again, it wouldn't have been my preference, but I do like the fact that they did kind of incorporate it well. So
it's one of those things with the Iron Spider suit in the actual Civil War comic.
Yeah, it looks horrendous.
It looks horrendous and didn't work. And the arms were just there for reasons because Quesada just happened to draw it on a napkin.
Yeah.
At least in this film, they served some sort of purpose and function.
Sure.
I felt like it was explained that, hey, this actually can survive the rigors of space, opposed to his normal suit. So it was functional, and it wasn't overly distracting the way I was.
Yeah,
and he had 4 arms instead of 3, so it was
that's true.
I always did think the 4 arm was better than the 3, but
Somebody was trying to sit there on some Spider-Man group I was a part of. They're like, it's superior Spider-Man. I'm like, no, this is
Get out! What are you doing?
Ashley, what was your biggest pro out of the movie?
Me?
Yeah, Ashley.
Well, out of Spider-Man, I'd say my biggest pro is just Tom Holland's performance. I think he's really nailed it. My favorite part was when he, after he follows Tony up onto the ship when they're first leaving Earth, and Tony's lecturing him like, what are you doing up here? And he just like completely like plain face, just like no hesitation, is like, well, if I'm not here, then I don't have anywhere to go back to. And it's just that core, that honesty and sense of duty at his core that's just like so pure. And you can kind of see Tony's reaction to it. It's just kind of like he would never have that kind of reaction. And it's kind of one of the things that really distinguishes Spider-Man and Iron Man. And I thought that was it's one of my favorite, what I consider one of Spider-Man's core strengths.
That was one of my favorite things too, where he
I wish he played on that more.
Where he didn't listen to Stark. I like that also. Where he just ignored
the line that he says, where he goes, "How can I be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man if there's no neighborhood?" Is like, that's actually, that was actually
the essence of the character.
Mm-hmm. That was heroic and not wimpy, sidekicky, which he is a lot.
And to kind of see Tony kind of get put in his place in his moment, there's kind of like, I'm completely underestimating this kid. I'm treating him like a kid.
All of that is undermined by the end, though. All of that is undermined.
Yeah.
Why?
I do want to. No, I want to add real quick too with Tom Holland's performance. So everyone knows that one scene, where he's, they've
been spoiled. We're going to talk about it. He disappears. He
yes, when he's about to disappear and he's terrified, and God, it's a hard scene. But all of that was improvised by Tom Holland.
I was about to.
Oh, really?
Yes.
They mentioned that today.
That was ad-libbed. So.
I don't remember his line though. It was something.
I don't feel so good.
I don't feel so.
It wasn't.
Good.
I don't feel so good. It was just like the I'm sorry, I don't want to go, and all that. The whole.
I don't want to go.
Apparently, Tom Holland had eaten at Chipotle that day.
Why? Oh, because he doesn't feel good.
I
feel fine after I eat Chipotle. I don't know what.
George, I'm curious.
Only when you get listeria do you not feel fine at Chipotle.
George, I'm curious about your comment. The heroic act of defying Tony Stark was negated by the ending that you said.
Well, it wasn't really that much of a defiance to begin with, and the fact that what Spider-Man had said, and that I cannot be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man if there is no neighborhood. I mean that's true. Plus, where the hell else is he supposed to go? I'll also point out that at that scene where Stark hit him with that thing, that's the second time Spider-Man's been defeated by a Stark parachute.
Oh. Well, was he really defeated? He kind of hung on there at the end.
Well, that's true. You've got a point. So he's broke even with Stark parachutes.
He's knocked down to 1 HP, but he climbed back.
So Stark parachutes and Stegron's tail. Spider-Man's got no.
But here's the thing. I mean, any kind of thing that you want to say where you're like, well, no, he was more of his own person here. He wasn't Stark's. He wasn't Stark's. I'm trying to refrain from salty language because we have a juvenile in the room, and also Spencer,
and also a senior citizen,
so. But by the end, when Tony or when Peter is crumbling away before Stark's eyes, extra slow, way slower than anybody else, because hey, it's supposed to be more emotional or whatever.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that later on, I guess.
On the cons,
yeah. But as he's drifting away, he clutches to Stark like he's his daddy. I mean, just come here! No, don't let me go! And my eyes rolled so hard I saw brain.
My eyes.
There's definitely a moment that was meant more to be Tony's character development, and that at Peter's expense.
My eyes are rolling. If the comment of your eyes rolling.
If the rest of the universe could get off Iron Man's jock, it would be awesome. Dude, you don't understand. You don't understand. When Thanos, mute Zach. When Thanos stabbed Tony Stark, I had an O face. Do you want to see
Yeah,
it?
No,
Do you want to see my O face, son?
No.
I had an O face because I was like, finally, sweet Christ, we're rid of Tony Stark and everyone else. We could live in a Stark-free world.
Oh, I knew he wasn't going to die.
Sadly, that was
when
robbed.
that happened.
Sadly, that was robbed of me.
I think
Okay.
it would have been amazing if it'd been
Your
reversed.
expectations was a little bit too high there, Barryman. I'm sorry.
Of this podcast.
Mike, did I get pros out of you?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Spencer and JR, what's some of your pros? What do you think?
Are we talking about just Spider-Man or the movie?
Just Spider-Man related, first off.
Surprisingly, I really did like the Iron Spider costume. And I really like to see it in action. And I just like the fact that they really had Spider-Man he was a lot more active in the movie than I thought he would be, and very heroic, and was saving everybody around him. So I thought actually they handled it really well.
Yeah,
the character.
Spencer, what do you think?
He said all I was gonna say, so yeah.
Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dad. Spencer, did you have a favorite scene in the film, Spider-Man related?
Oh yeah, probably just the scene where after Tony and Strange are arguing, Peter's just like, oh yeah, I'm Peter by the way, and then Strange is like, Doctor Strange is like, oh, we're using our made up names now, and you think about it, it's like, oh wait, Doctor Strange is his real name.
Yeah, I wish that wasn't spoiled. I saw that in the trailer, and shame on me for seeing too much of the trailer. I watched everything.
I stop after 3 trailers. I'm like, I'm done after this.
Well, I was spoiled by that line. I was also spoiled by the Ned and Spider-Man scene. It's my own fault, but
well, and here's the thing. This is where I think there's this dichotomy between people like us that we live and breathe this stuff, and we talk about the rumors and the spoilers and things like that, and somebody that's John Q. Public coming in. So I had when Spidey died, I had a 6-year-old kid sitting behind me and my group of guys that we were with, and that was like, "What happened to Spider-Man?" And you're like, and you feel bad. Well, because the kid's being played by Elmo now.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
This is terrifying.
Elmo was in the
Zach's impersonation of a 6-year-old child. I won't sleep tonight. That's nightmare.
Are you awake now, George?
Yeah. I'm awake and I got the cops on speed dial.
Oh my!
I love you, George. Okay. Anyway.
Now see, this is the Elmo that was recently up on criminal charges. That's
He got tickled too much. Yeah.
This was Fondle Me Elmo.
From Hasbro.
Zach's Elmo reminds me of the guy who should have been in prison.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
Anyway, so
real quick,
I felt bad for the kid. Because he's because Black Panther dies and Spider-Man dies, and he's like, "What happened to Black Panther?" And you're like, "I'm sorry, kid."
he went the way of Ben Reilly, boy.
Yeah,
I knew that somebody was gonna make a Ben Reilly reference.
Yeah.
Besides
So here, I haven't hit up George for his favorite Spider-Man moment. What's your? There's got to be something Spider-Man related.
When he was when he was actually trying to get the gauntlet, trying to help get the gauntlet off.
Oh, that's yeah.
I enjoyed that moment, but but for the most part, no, I didn't enjoy anything of Spider-Man. I mean, there's not that much Spider-Man in it. Number one, to begin with, there's really not. They threw him in there to have him in there to try to squeeze a little more money out of everybody, and it worked. But yeah, I mean, there's really not that much of Holland's Spider-Man in here, and I said this before. I forget to who. I take that back. I've said it several places. This is why I can't narrow it down. Marvel Studios doesn't understand Spider-Man. They don't. They absolutely don't. They have an idea, and it's whatever jackasses are in charge of Spider-Man now. I guess for the last 10 years, it hadn't be a late 20-something man child under Slott. Where he's just got to be, he just can't be an adult. Can't do it. We can't have it. But so they don't understand the character to begin with. And Feige surprises me. I no longer have full trust and I've said this before. No longer have full faith in Feige, the way I used to. But for every fumble, screwing up Spider-Man Homecoming so badly. I mean, look at Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Black Panther was phenomenal. So, yeah, he's just real hit or miss for me. But he doesn't know. He knows jack squat about this character. And
I would argue that they understand Spider-Man, but they don't know what to do with him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
No, they missed on fundamental levels. This is a character that is his own. This is the definition of individual as a hero.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've screwed that up now through what?
But then, okay,
through 3 movies now.
3 movies, yeah.
He's just Tony Stark stooge.
Can I counterpoint that a little bit though?
You can try. I mean, we'll all laugh. I'm eager to see what you come up with.
All right. Anyway, first of all, here's the difference. If Spider-Man had came in as instead of Iron Man, and he's the loner, and he's the guy that is the loner, and then off on the side you got the Avengers being developed. It makes sense what you're saying, George. I understand that. But because they brought him in and immediately bring him into the Avengers world.
Yeah, I know that I mean the misfires have started from Civil War. Yeah.
One of the worst things that they probably did to the character, and I'll agree with you on this, in 2004 when they brought him into the New Avengers. As a concept, it made sense because you're trying to make the Avengers your marquee title. You might as well have your marquee character in the marquee title. However, this is what I'm hoping by the time we get through Avengers 4, that with whatever Homecoming or Spider-Man Prom, whatever you're going to call it, Homecoming 2, Electric Bugaboo, that it is a self-contained story in the same vein that your Ant-Man and your Doctor Strange were self-contained stories. And even Guardians was a self-contained story with that group. So I'm hoping by the end of this that, yes, he might be an Avenger officially, because officially he became Avenger in this movie. But I'm hoping by the end of it that we'll see him as a loner.
Here's my question, hypothetical to George. My Roy Thomas what if question to George. In 2008, Iron Man started. Let's say in 2008 or 2009, Spider-Man came out. And Iron Man and Spider-Man came out side by side. And Spider-Man replaced the Hulk movie. Spider-Man would have been in 8 movies by the time this movie hit. Would you think they would have gotten Spider-Man right if they started with him instead of trying to place him in after so much has been established?
No, because even in 2008, I mean, the Marvel Studios, well, actually back then you had Paramount releasing the films.
Right.
But
Iron Man, yeah.
Yeah, but no, but back then in 2008, dude, think about it. That's when One More Day first hit.
Maybe cast Andrew Garfield? And Andrew Garfield could have been in all these films.
No,
I don't think the problem has been Tom Holland or Andrew Garfield.
Tom Holland's a fine actor.
No,
and I'm already
wouldn't be old enough to be in 2008. But anyway,
I'm already getting hate in chat for this. By the way, it's already happened. This is why I did not put a review of it on the front page. I'm done. I'm like, dude, I've lived enough. If giving my opinion on my honest opinion on stuff is going to get me attacked, I'm over it. I'm done. I don't need to share it with you. I don't care. But no, I mean, Tom Holland is not the problem. He's playing the Spider. He's a great actor.
I don't have any problem with Tom Holland.
He's playing the Stark flunky that they're wanting him to play.
I'm saying if Spider-Man was introduced earlier in the universe, would you have a different opinion? Do you think?
It depends. It depends if Iron Man had started and then Spider-Man had started independently of Iron Man, or does Iron Man start and then Spider-Man's like, oh my god, Mr. Stark, notice me, senpai, notice me. I don't know, kid, you need to learn a lot. No, really, I'm smart. I swear to God, I'm nothing without you. I mean, it would depend. It would depend on
that
a
was
lot
like
of stuff.
Puppets.
Yeah. The most terrifying thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's a minor, sir.
Right.
That's
we're talking about a child.
One thing before we move on to cons, one thing I liked that no one mentioned is when the Guardians are getting thrown and stuff like that, Spider-Man is webbing up, rescuing him, and his quips are, I'm rescuing you, I don't know your name, I'm trying to save you, I don't know your name, I'm trying to save you. I thought that was pretty clever.
What about Magic Kick?
What was Magic Kick? I don't remember that.
Magic Kick when he kept going through Strange's teleport things like
Yes.
Magic Kick, Magic, or when he kicking Thanos.
Spider-Man jumped through the magic. Oh yes,
Didn't he reference another movie this time too?
Alien.
Can we
The
go?
really old movie. I'm like, no.
Can we go through a movie where Spider-Man's not like referencing like another movie? I mean, this is something.
His niche to fill is the kid, so they kind of pushed that a little too far. Sometimes.
Yeah, they really did. It was awkward.
Okay, the first time it was cute. The second time it was annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah. There's the thing. The thing is, in terms of like I think if we're already kind of going into this Tom Holland things and stuff, like I kind of lean more towards like where between George and Zach, actually, because I do agree with Zach's point is that, I mean, if you look in the context of Tom Holland's performance and everything, he is playing somebody who is supposed to be a teenager, and he does legitimately act like one. However, I think more so in this movie than the other previous appearances, it kind of got really grating where he kept going, "Yes, sir, Mr. Stark. Absolutely, Mr. Stark. Let me buff your armor for you, Mr. Stark. Let me, spit sign those little rocket boots for you, Mr. Stark.
Let me get rid of those green M&Ms for you, Mr. Stark. I know they.
I don't want to go, Mr. Stark." Yeah, it got to the point. It got kind of ridiculous at that.
It sounds like we're ready to move on to cons. Did I miss any other pros of Spider-Man that you guys liked?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's
Yeah.
I liked how there, and this was kind of dovetailing off a previous point. I liked how there was no hesitation with Peter. Peter was like, "Oh, the hairs on my arms are standing up." Spider sense. Yay!
I did like on the bus when he grabs his friend and is like, "I need a distraction," and just instantly, we're all gonna die.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good.
I liked Stan's cameo in that too.
Oh, Stan's cameo was good.
But like, honestly, I was like, all right, Peter Parker. That's Peter Parker. He's going to be. That is the essence of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. A cataclysmic event is happening in Queens, New York, and he's like, "Shit, I gotta go."
Yeah, that was good. Getting off the bus was cool.
Yeah, and Stark's trying to keep him, down in. I actually like the fight in New York in general. But we'll get to that in the larger point here in a second.
Okay, YouTubers, any pros that we didn't mention that you liked out of Spider-Man before we go on to cons real quick? We'll talk amongst ourselves in a second. Feel free. Anything else we missed? One thing was a missed opportunity was Spider-Man and Bruce Banner were in New York together, and there was no scenes together.
Okay.
And you didn't get your Spidey Hulk scene because Hulk's only in one scene in the rest of the movie. He's got performance issues until thank God, Tony Stark is giving me armor, giving me super armor.
So that's two characters in this movie.
All right.
Otherwise, though, Banner.
We're getting to Hulk in a minute.
Otherwise,
because I got issues with Hulk. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk. Let's
Spider-Man. Oh yeah, Bernardo. Spider-Man saves Iron Man in New York. There you go. That's true. What do you think of that, George? He saved Iron Man.
I don't remember it, dude. He
stopped that big guy.
I gave up so early in this damn thing. As soon as I saw those claws pop off, I was like, "That's it, son. I'm done. I could drink whiskey right now."
Those claws pop off. What?
No, out of his back. The
arms. Okay, yeah.
The whole stupid ass Iron Spider thing.
Okay.
I was like, I'm done. I'm out. Even in a movie where the Guardians are in it, and I'm like, I'm ready for this to be over now. And then people start dying left or right. I had no reaction. Remember when Civil War? Not Civil War.
You're jumping.
Okay. Jumping, yeah.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
We're jumping a little bit before we. Yeah.
There's a whole lot of knowledge in here, Jomo, and it's just it's hard to keep it.
It's fine.
Hard to keep it in.
I could see your head swelling from here, and I live 6 hours away from you.
Hold on, I got to remove a chatter. Hold on, there we go. Goodbye. Okay. Oh, okay. Cons of Spider-Man related. Let's go around the horn. George, you probably have the biggest cons you've mentioned.
I'm gonna go get some alcohol so I can get through this part.
No, listen to his cons. Come on. What's your con? What's your biggest con, George?
Oh, well, the stupid ass Iron Spider costume, ridiculous. We've talked about this how many times over the last decade or so, Jomo. That thing's always been a piece of trash. Being Stark's stooge, flunky, groupie. I'm going to say groupie because groupie is not as harsh as saying fluffer. So I'll say groupie. And still not being allowed to, 3 movies now, still can't be his own man, even at the dead end, and even after he shows some growth. Still at the end, oh, Tony Stark, save me, save the universe, Tony Stark, it's your universe. I was physically ill. The Marvel universe needs Tony Stark to die because the rest, it's sucking the air out of the whole rest of that universe. Let him die. Let him die.
Biggest con out of me, Spider-Man does not attach himself to a space shuttle and not jump off and has to get rescued by Tony Stark. Don't like that. I don't like Spider-Man and Tony talking and Tony ejects him with his parachute, flies out of the ship. Goodbye, kid. That's a sidekick belittling.
George Perryman's rubbing off on you, Douglas.
No, I would object. No.
Here's what triggered Brad? The way they did the Hulk. That was like the line has been drawn. Brad could no longer excuse what was being done to Spider-Man.
No, I've not liked the Stark sidekick Spider-Man either. I guess I understand it, but I don't like it. He's his own man, and he should object to his sugar daddy or something like that.
No. Oh, that's a good analogy. That's an absolutely spot on analogy.
Yeah,
minor.
But here's the thing. Also, as he's getting into the upper part of the Earth's atmosphere, where he could potentially suffocate, you don't want Spider-Man to die right then.
He would jump off and get a web parachute and fly down. He's fine. He's done it before.
He doesn't need web parachutes because he's got Stark parachutes left and right. It's raining Stark parachutes in this.
But wait. I don't. I think it's more in character for Peter to want to stay on the ship and try to attack or work on defeating the enemy at hand than running away and scurrying. You guys would have bitched if he ran and scurried away if he had done that.
Spider-Man where he just runs away at the first time.
He's actually running towards the problem.
Mm-hmm.
He's not running away from it. He's running.
No, I didn't have a problem with that part. For me, that made sense. That was in character.
I guess the problem is Stark rescuing him.
Yeah.
And him going unconscious.
Here's the thing, and this is going to go into because I kind of said some of my cons already, but here's the thing which to me really sold the point home. With Doctor Strange is basically with Doctor Strange and Tony Stark are bannering. I mean, and which was, I thought, by the way, says aside, I thought that was great that they didn't like each other because they're kind of similar personalities.
Yes.
And when Doctor Strange goes, well, who is this guy? Your ward? And at that point, it's like, wow. So even the movie is acknowledging that Spider-Man is basically Tony Stark's Robin at that point. It's like
that was just a missed opportunity too, where he could have come out and been like kind of defined his role and would kind of start moving away from the Mr. Stark, but they didn't.
I'll concede that point.
No, I'm not his word. Oh, but and all this stuff. Like, yeah, you are, kid. You're pretty much acting like it.
Web Snappers, Mr. Stark. He's Robin from the '60s Batman show. I mean,
yeah, pretty much. I mean, like I said, that when you're basically your own movie is kind of like selling that point, like basically kind of like lampshading that whole thing, like pointing that out. That's when maybe you're doing something wrong with here. So that was like, because it kind of really called attention to it and stuff.
JR and Spencer, what's some of your cons?
Yeah, they got really quiet. Sorry.
Yeah.
Honestly, just not enough Spider-Man. I think Tom Holland's a good actor, and I just wanted to see more of him in the movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
JR?
I didn't like seeing Junkie.
Who?
Gonky.
Oh, Gonky.
Gonk. Ned.
What do you think of?
You complain about sidekicks or whatever, and Spider-Man being Stark's sidekick. I mean, they're treating Junkie as Spider-Man's sidekick, and it's like I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like the character. I wish they'd done something like with maybe bring in instead of him, maybe Randy Robertson or something like that. So
everybody's a sidekick in Spider-Man's world. What do you think of Stark Jr., JR?
Oh yeah, when he's talking to Pepper with a kid.
What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, his love and all of his gadgets and etc. are from Stark. He had to get rescued from Stark.
I didn't invest a whole lot of time worrying about stuff like that. I had other issues with the movie that we'll get to, but their handling of Spider-Man was some of the least of them.
Okay, all right. Any other cons? What do we got?
I have one.
Go ahead.
So I think what the whole nature of the relationship between Tony Stark and Peter Parker boils down to, and just what kind of bothers me so much, is that all of Peter's character and any possible development is kind of thrown away at the expense of Tony's character arc. Like, I would have really loved it if we'd seen, it would have been great for Peter's character if we see Iron Man fade away at the end instead of Peter. But this is about Tony's character arc, and so he has to be the one to experience that loss, and what that we had to explore the effect that's going to have on him. We can't really see what that's going to do.
I think
I'll say this: this is a story that's been building since Age of it's been building since Age of Ultron, when he saw the vision of all the Avengers being dead and all of that. So I mean, that's paying off that plot line.
I definitely get that. I mean, this all started with Iron Man to begin with, so it's kind of just an unfortunate, just a matter of almost just a stroke of bad luck. You know, Spider-Man picked the short straw, or got drawn for the short straw, and so we're unfortunately just kind of having to see the consequences of that play out. I definitely understand it from a storytelling perspective, but it just really kind of sucks if you're a Spider-Man fan.
I think I agree with you about that, and I also think if Stark disappeared in front of Spider-Man in the movie, it would have been like a Gwen Stacy second level of loss. However, in this universe, we haven't experienced the loss of Uncle Ben, or hardly even mentioned the loss of Uncle Ben.
That's true.
And I think that would be his main goal, to do better things, would be Tony Stark, and I don't want that.
I think Marvel is probably limited in how much they can develop Peter as a character, just because they're kind of sharing him with Sony, and they kind of got the split custody there. And also, logistically speaking, I'd say Iron Man does have a better chance of getting off that planet than Peter would all by himself, though that would be such good characterization. But whatever.
No, I'll say this. Once the Fox deal goes through, there's absolutely no reason to not just outright buy the intellectual property rights back
from Spider-Man.
Of Spider-Man, 100%. And I'll agree with George. I'll agree with George on this. After Venom bombs, and we all know it's going to, because I call it prison ass for a reason. It's not going to. After that thing just craters the way we expect it to. And I really think that, and it could be that there is still some shackles that Sony has, but I get that from the standpoint they want to treat the audience. They want to treat the audience like they already know the origin, but it would be nice to have that acknowledgement. I'll agree with that.
Yes, yes. Other cons out of Spider-Man specific, then we'll open it up to the whole movie. Anybody?
I think we said.
Have we hit all the cons of Spider-Man?
I think we have. Agree. George said it earlier. There's not much Spider-Man in this movie.
Yeah. That last scene is a con for George and I. How it's his last word should be something about Aunt May and Uncle Ben, and not Tony.
Oh God, Jack threw that at me. He's like, you know what Peter should have said? He should have added, like, tell Aunt May I'm sorry. And I'm like, put that in my head.
Yes.
Don't put that in my head.
That would be good.
Yeah. That's what Peter should have said, and then not hug Tony Stark.
Yeah. He should have stood up like a man and said, if any time that would have been a time to cry, it would have been the disappointment of disappointing Uncle Ben and Aunt May. That should have been a tearful moment, I think. Not Tony.
Here's the thing. You say that, Brad, like a man, and I've said that earlier, like a man. Chat's about to hit us with 18,000 messages. As he's a 15-year-old kid. All right,
but he's not Spider-Boy. He's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Think about this. When he's the same age as he was during the Lee Ditko stories during Amazing Fantasy 15, when we first saw him in high school, But my God, compare the two characters.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Spider-Man was more of an individual. He was more feisty than the Spider. Back then, the Marvel Universe, the heroes didn't need a reason to fight. If you showed up in somebody's book, you were going to fight each other before you.
It was time to.
Yeah, it was going to be time to rumble.
To Anthony in the chat, like a man, nah, bro. Like a hero. How does that sound? Like a hero.
If
I don't know. I have to defend his fear at his impending death, whether it happened. I'm just going to completely throw out the window where the character was in at this age in the comics, because I think this is just a much more realistic interpretation of a 15-year-old, even if he's got spider powers and is a hero, facing his impending inevitable death.
I'll say this. Spider-Man's been Spider-Man for 6 months in this particular continuity. He's still, even if he wasn't using this Tony suit, he's still got he's still very young in terms of how he looks at the world. If I was 15 years old and I was, meeting my impending doom, and you ask any 15-year-old, they're gonna be scared as hell, and it's not gonna be. Tony just happened to be there. That could have easily been Doc Strange. That could have easily been.
No, stop. You think he was going to go hug Doctor Strange?
Yeah,
Things would have been
seriously. That's what you're about to try to sell us.
Well, okay.
You can go hug Nebula. She needs it.
I mean,
Doesn't matter if Tony Stark's there or some random good humor ice cream man pulled off the effing street by some sort of cosmic anomaly. He's just going to hug a grown man.
Okay, the dude's about to die. He's about to disintegrate. He's about to be Ben Reilly, as you would love.
You've broken Zach. He just insulted the clones. He took a clone's name in vain.
Red. Look how red I am right now.
You just made the clone guys say he's about to be Ben Reilly.
Oh yeah,
George wins.
Which is that he was in the Ben Reilly looking suit, so I'm sure George loved that one.
He's about to be Ben Riley.
He's red as Elmo.
Oh yeah, somebody tickles Zach.
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's open it up to the whole movie. Your biggest pro out of the whole movie. Go, anybody.
The beginning and the end were
Thanos.
perfect and flawless.
Yeah.
Thanos. Thanos' character. Josh Brolin as Thanos,
well done.
hands down.
This was Thanos and his amazing enemies. Okay, that's what it really
Yeah.
I liked Brolin. I don't like Thanos' motivation when you take Lady Death out of it.
Oh, that made it.
Are you kidding? That was what was great about it.
It was so good.
First of all, I don't know his real motivation. His motivation is because my planet starved, the rest of the universe needs to be eliminated.
Yeah, well, you got to think. Yeah, that's part of it because he thinks.
I got a theory.
It's
Mike,
eugenics
go
without
ahead.
the Darwinism.
Okay, I'll wait. Okay, I'll go here, because the whole idea was that because Thanos is he's got this whole thing about overpopulation to the extreme thing, and he thinks that, but he's also insane. So that aspect of the Mad Titan thing is still there. So his whole solution, I mean, actually there was an analogy that I heard was almost perfect for it. I mean, and I'm sure JR will pick up on this. There was that Star Trek episode.
I was going to mention that.
With a Star Trek episode where there's a guy who says, we got to, in order to save our planet, we got to kill half the population and all that stuff. And the guy was completely bonkers.
Boy, I didn't catch that at all.
Yeah, no, that was
the first thing I was thinking. I was thinking, you know what? I've seen this done before.
Yeah.
50 years ago.
Yeah, but I mean, if they're not going to be using Mistress Death as the thing trying to woo her.
You like that better than trying to impress his love of killing half the universe?
Well, if you're not going to use death, I mean, you got to come up with a reason why you use half the universe. And it shows the fact that he's still insane because he thinks that is going to be justified. That he's justifying, genocide essentially. He still keeps that benevolent aspect, but at the same time, he's in his warped mind, he thinks that he's the hero of the whole thing. I think.
I have something to. This whole theory is based off the book, The Population Bomb.
Population Bomb, yeah.
By Paul R. Elric. But I was also thinking about did the nuke that hit New York Was that the reason that Titan was slightly off of its orbit? Because if you remember, there was a nugget that stuck with me when they were on Titan, and I think it was Doctor Strange talking about it or something about how it was.
Never thought about that.
Slightly
I thought the nuke just blew up that floating rock that Thanos was on or something. I don't know.
I don't know if it was like maybe that was a moon of Titan.
Oh yeah, it threw its off its axis.
No, because Thanos was already a warlord by the time that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was already well on his
Remember, because at the end of that first Avengers movie, which is where Tony Stark did that, you had him turning around and smiling.
Okay.
The guy that was leading the armies that apparently were Thanos's cannon fodder. So I mean, that's not
okay.
That I don't think that's the thing. That
I thought
Thanos explains what destroys Titan.
yeah.
I thought Brolin did a great job.
Right, and the CGI on him looked really good.
Yes, it was good.
The CGI is a million times better than the CGI we'll see in the Venom movie because that looks like shit.
Yeah,
I like the
Spider-Man 3 looks better than the Venom movie.
Combine Venom's tongue with Thanos' chin.
Oh no! Let's not, please.
Earlier in the podcast, I said at points this movie was a B- for me. My favorite parts were Thor.
Oh yeah,
I thought Thor was awesome.
Was my second favorite parts of that whole thing, especially when he called Rocket Raccoon like the rabbit is right and clearly the smartest among you.
Him interacting with the Guardians and trying to build a hammer. That was a nice little Thor story in it.
It was great.
It was.
I think what they're going to end up doing is, they're going to end up passing the torch from, Captain America and Iron Man. Iron Man's probably going to kick it in the next one. I think Thor's kind of become the new keystone of the Avengers because they've been giving him a lot of development since Ragnarok, and then he got a huge bit of screen time and character development in Infinity Wars. Yeah. So that's my theory.
I love that he made Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
I love that Groot was the handle.
Oh, I did too. I didn't expect that. I thought that was a great scene too.
It was a great touch. And Peter Dinklage was amazing.
Yeah.
That was the only thing Groot did in the movie, but it was cool.
Can we talk about the fact that I don't think anybody expected to see Red Skull in this movie?
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
You know when I saw that floating cape, I thought that was Lady Death.
Me too.
Did. Was that actually Hugo Weaving?
No, it wasn't.
Because I was about to say, because Hugo Weaving did Captain America and then was like, "F y'all, I'm out."
No doubt.
Yeah. It was the actor that plays Jesus in Walking Dead.
Oh, was it him?
Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I stopped watching Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought
Smart Wand or something like that. What was his name? Okay.
I there was like audible gasps.
Yeah, that was cool.
Was he literally just sitting there for like how many decades?
Yeah, like
waiting?
70 years.
What was he doing?
Well, time probably wasn't the same where they were.
I can get the man a deck of cards or something.
That was kind of his punishment too, because if you think about it, his whole thing was like, yeah, you're basically forced to become the guardian of this thing, and you can't use it, buddy. So you're just because you don't love anything.
He
so
should have been
like,
much happier to see Thanos.
I thought Gamora had a good storyline.
God, don't get me started. I'm still not over it.
I enjoyed Gamora's storyline, and the most compelling moment for me was when they got to that point, and then she was like, "Haha, you failed. You love nothing." And then
I think that part, the setup was too obvious, and I'm like, I wish they'd kind of not dwelt on it so far in advance because you could see it coming. But oh my God, it hurt.
But it reminded me of that Fantastic Four story. It might have been Wade back when Wade didn't suck. That he went where Dr. Doom, remember, to try to become more powerful, like he finally went full on. He turned away from science and just went full magic.
Yeah, that's right.
And the price was he had to give up the thing he loved most, and it was like the first girl he ever loved, and he went and killed her.
Yep.
And it reminded me of that, and it made me think, well, Marvel's got a crap ton of stories like that they can just plunder.
See, here's the thing. Who thinks that they are actually going to bring Gamora back? Because I don't think they will.
Oh, I do.
I'm torn.
To me, there's three deaths that will stick.
Oh yeah, Loki's death is going to get stick. Heimdall's death is going to stick.
Heimdall, and I think Gamora's death's going to stick.
No,
because
no.
Here's the reason why. I think that's your impetus for Volume 3 of Guardians with Peter.
You say impetus? Are you talking about the Hulk?
Oh my God.
I will say this as a movie overall, and I know we're kind of going on pros and cons, but as a movie overall, I felt like this was very briskly paced and did not feel like 2.5 hours. I'll also say this: I have an iWatch, and it monitors my heart rate. Right, I looked down after we got done with the film, and I had like 8 notifications that my heart rate had gone up to like 120 beats a minute.
Yeah, but you're an excitable little guy to begin with.
But I was engrossed and invested in the movie, which is why
we're stepping on JR and Spencer again. What's your biggest pros non-Spider-Man, fellas?
Oh, just any same Captain America was in. Just him kicking ass.
Yeah.
Cap wasn't in it much, but he was.
Great.
I loved the holding of the gauntlet and the beard and the fight with Scarlet Witch and Vision was cool.
I'm Steve Rogers.
Yeah, that was cute.
The Scarlet Witch and Vision for me as an Avengers fan and as someone who has loved Scarlet Witch and Vision as a couple going back to the 70s, it was really good to see what they were doing with Scarlet Witch and Vision. I really
I love seeing her get more be used more and kind of seeing her flex her her arsenal a bit more. I need more Scarlet Witch.
No, I really did enjoy that.
I know this is a con for George, but I liked the banter between Strange and Iron Man in the beginning.
No, because when you have Doctor Strange calling, and this happened in his first movie, in this film when he called the main protagonist asshole, and then now in his second showing. He shows up for Infinity War, and then he calls Tony Stark a douchebag. Now we'll put aside the fact that Tony Stark is in fact a douchebag. Doctor Strange doesn't talk that way. I get that the way he's written in the comics for the last few years, he probably does talk that way. Don't care. That's not who Doctor Strange is. And remember, Brad, you were like, "Oh, you should get this," and I picked it up and I said, "This is garbage."
I like the new Doctor Strange.
I know you do because you didn't never read Roger Stern and never read
JR's con.
Here's my question to George:
JR's pro.
George, when did Stark go bad for you in the movies?
In the movies,
yeah. Because you liked the first Iron Man, I thought.
I did. I liked Stark.
When did it switch for you?
It flipped during Civil War. And here's another thing. Just like the comic book, because the comic book decided, let's shake things up and everything, and let's nothing will ever be the same. There's stuff in there that should still reverberate today, and it does not, because it was all magically done away with. When Civil War happened in the comic books, and we've talked about this, Brad, you and I have talked about this several times. And JR has been a part of those. There's stuff happened there you don't come back from. Mm-hmm. People don't they don't get past that crap, the kind of crap that went down in there. I mean, people died. Innocent people died. So that for me, because in the movie, just the doggedness for I guess the tenacity at which he pursued his own friends, that soured me on the character. And at that point I was like, because he was like, I'm trying to save everybody. And I'm like, no, you're trying to be right. Mm-hmm. I'm like, it's more important for you to be right than anything else. And that's all this amounts to. That's why Rhodey's a cripple now. That's why all this other stuff happened. And that's when, and here's the thing, there's no magic eraser. Like what happened with, what was that afterwards? Siege? Or no,
Dark Reign.
No, it wasn't Dark Reign. Dark Reign was the whole crap that kept it going. Secret Invasion. At the end of it, it was like, oh, hey, we're all friends. Hey, here's the Bill Foster. No, actually, they didn't even toast to Bill Foster. They were like, woohoo, that was a wild ass year. And I'm like, yeah, hey, pour one out for Bill. Nobody? Mm-hmm. Nobody? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's a real problem because now you don't have a magic eraser to fix those things. You have a magic eraser to fix all the people that died, which is another reason why I couldn't get invested in any of the character desk, because I know how this goes down.
Anyway, what I liked about the movie,
I was going to say,
JR.
I didn't get the JR's pros. What did you like?
Anyway, in my defense, JR, he went to me. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Brad said go to George. I'm sorry.
Anyway, what I liked about the movie was I really felt that it was an epic movie. You know, when I was sitting there, you know, when they talk about, you know, this has been 10 years in the making, 10 years in the making, or whatever, and you're sitting there thinking, yeah, I'm expected to be let down, but whatever they spent, it's all on the screen, you know. And they brought in, you know, they wrote the checks, they brought every actor back except Hugo, obviously, because Hugo didn't want to come back. You know, they brought everybody back. They, you know, had multiple scenes on all, you know, Earth, outer space, whatever, Wakanda. I mean, it truly, you know, I mean, I have some issues with it. We'll talk about later, but I always think that was probably my favorite movie. Is I think they delivered the epic movie they said they were going to. So.
I thought it was, well, I'll get to cons later. Any other pros?
Building off of what JR said, I think the script for this was absolutely incredible. The pacing is amazing. That they're juggling all of these moving parts, these really complex moving parts, and yet there were a few moments where it felt like the movie was dragging, or I felt like it was jumping around too much. It was really smooth, and it was just it was very well structured, and I was just impressed on all fronts with how that was handled. How the framework of the story was handled.
I would disagree with Ashley on that point. That was one of my cons.
Well,
I thought that it was. Well, go ahead, Mike.
Well, I was going to say, regardless of what you think about this film and stuff, I think it's an impressive feat that they were able to kind of include all of these characters and kind of balance them out right.
Yeah, but the story.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Regardless of what but
I would disagree with Mike and now Ashley and now Mike in the fact that I felt that it was a cut and paste. I thought they filmed an extra 15 minutes after one film. They filmed another 15 minutes after another film. They cut and pasted and spliced it all together. And there was so much jumping that there wasn't. Didn't flow that well for me.
I mean, structurally they had to kind of put separate stories in there. I mean,
okay, yeah. As somebody that's done some writing of groups, okay. It's not easy being. Look, the one thing that I wish we could see was everybody together in one scene. Yes, I would have loved to have seen that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably get that next movie.
Right.
Oh, sure.
But I feel like you have to juggle the massive amount of characters, and yes, there's a lot of characters in this movie. You kind of have to separate them out and have their own side quests, so that way, to me, everything was building, and then you get to the end and it punches you in the gut.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I defy you to have any feeling that Spider-Man and Black Panther are not coming back.
Oh,
seriously.
Yeah. It's not that they're dead.
I felt nothing for those characters' deaths. I felt something for Loki. I felt something for Heimdall. I felt nothing for Spider-Man. That ought to tell you something.
Yeah, everybody who was snapped to death is coming back. You know they are.
There is no emotional payoff at the end when you know what's going to happen.
That was the problem I had with this movie was because they did it to Black Panther and Spider-Man, because the other characters, when it happens to some of them, you think, well, maybe there really is a possibility this character will stay dead. Maybe there really is, you know, I mean, it's comic books. We know nobody ever dies. But when they did Black Panther, who just had like one of the most successful Marvel movies ever, they're talking about making a number 2. And when they are going into pre-production on the second Spider-Man film, and you see those two characters die, it's like, okay, no. I mean, to me, not that I felt any emotion or anything, because like I said,
you're supposed to.
These characters are dying. They're coming back. There's no like, well, gee, maybe they really won't come back. It's like, no. And to me, that took me out of the movie.
Yes.
There's no way. It was stupid. To have those two characters die.
This is where I feel like
come from.
Go ahead, Ashley.
Can I go?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the shock shouldn't have come from the deaths, and for me, it didn't. It was that they actually went all in and ended with a lose scenario. The bad guy wins, and that they fully committed to that. That's what I really wanted to see. Disney can afford that at this point with the huge draw, with everything that this franchise pulls in. They can afford to take risks, and they did, and they delivered on that.
Yeah,
it's not a risk. Winning, that's a lose scenario. The typical, you're not ending with the typical, oh, the good guys save the day, the heroes win and defeat the villains. Like, no, the villain won at the end of this movie.
Okay,
But technically, this is a half of a 5-hour movie, though.
let me also back up for a second. I'll use a wrestling analogy. Okay, when people George, stop. Let me make my damn point. All right, my wrestling analogy is this: there's a moment, and George, we brought this up a few months ago with the Ditko news, talking about when Ditko was drawing the WWE or F stuff. There's a moment where you start, where fans become smart, is what they call it in the business, right? They understand that this is a storyline, everything's predetermined, it's choreographed. To me, we are the people that we understand. We know these characters. We have an intimate knowledge of the original, the original stories, and B, the way all these deals work, because we discuss this all the time here on this show.
That's a fair point.
Okay, John Q. Public doesn't understand that.
They do.
No,
Yeah,
John Q. Public that don't.
John Q. Public knows there's Black Panther 2 and Spider-Man 2 coming out.
Not everybody in John Q. Public.
Oh yeah, they do.
They assume it. They assume it, but they don't know for sure. They don't. There's a large group of people that watch these films and do not follow it nearly as intimate as we do, and as a result, they get punched in the gut. We understand that. What I meant by punched in the gut was that holy shit, it just ended.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I meant with it being a punch in the gut, because I'm like, oh, I looked at my watch and I'm like, holy shit, we've actually been through 2.5 hours of a movie.
No, I wait a minute. I got to kind of disagree with that a little bit, because everybody knows. I mean, even if you're not total geeks like us, everybody knows comic book logic and comic book stories. You know, I mean, like I was telling wrote Power Pack back. I mean, if there are grown adults crying, those grown adults have not read enough comic books.
Those grown adults also leave before the credits are over.
I mean, they brought Spock back for Christ's sake.
Yes,
and that death was supposed to be permanent because Nimoy was wanting out of it. I mean, I mean, if anybody was, and see, that's the thing. If anybody was crying at the end of this movie, I think that they must need some other things to cry about, because, like I said, I sat there and I kind of felt cheated, to be honest.
Yes,
because I didn't think any of it was real.
I had the same reaction. I had the same
reaction.
And you know what it reminded me, Brad? Remember when that reboot of Secret Wars? Who did that? Was that
Hickman?
Yeah,
Jonathan Hickman.
When the reboot of Secret Wars came out. And I remember flipping through that in the store, and like all these superheroes were dying, and it was supposed to be this big thing. And I was like, dude, I felt nothing. I was like, you've done it so many times now. I'm numb to it. I'm just numb. I know how it plays out, dude. I do. And so I was like, oh, look, the Invisible Woman's dying. I love the Invisible Woman. I should feel something. I don't. Close, put it back on the rack, walked out.
I would have felt. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Ashley.
I would have felt just as cheated if they hadn't had to. If they didn't show Thanos at his full, the absolute worst case scenario. If they hadn't seen that to the conclusion. If they had stopped him from snapping his fingers at the last minute and not seen like, okay, this is kind of the point of no return. They didn't shy away from that edge. They went tumbling right over it. I would have felt cheated if they pulled back at the last second and they were like, oh no, we stopped him in time. That would feel like we're not getting the full climax of this conflict that we've been building up to.
Everybody in the theater, and I'm going to echo something that Justin Paris said on the chat. Everybody in the theater that I was in, and maybe it not been, maybe it wasn't that way in Joplin, there, Brad, but everybody in the theater was like, what? Really? Like, they wanted more. And
well, they're supposed to want more.
Yeah.
But an ending like that just didn't work.
It's the first time we've ever seen it, though, Brad. Have we actually seen a true blue bona fide cliffhanger in a Marvel movie?
They all well, here's my problem. The movie doesn't, for me personally, doesn't stand on its own.
It does.
It doesn't, in my opinion. I think it has build up with no ending. It's granted, it's a half an ending.
It has half an ending because only half the universe dies.
It is a full complete movie.
I understood that reference.
I don't.
To be honest, I was not going to see this a second time because it was. Like I said, I didn't have like an emotional reaction, like oh my god. But I thought, you know what? I didn't spend 2.5 hours to watching a movie to feel like that was it. And I had no intention of seeing it again until Brad said that. We wanted to talk about Infinity War, so I thought, well, I better see it again, so I have a little bit more fresh opinion of it.
Twice, okay.
But otherwise, I had no intention of seeing it a second time. It was like, I was like, no, I just don't want to go through that again.
Yeah.
Here, Michael Reed said, no ending. Thanos won. The end.
I think ultimately I think with Avengers Infinity War, if you're looking at something that is like the equivalent of what a comic book event is like,
3 times.
This is actually has a good example of that in both its good and bad parts.
Mm-hmm.
But my question is, who here hates Star-Lord now?
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly.
I mean, because he that's my biggest con. He was just a complete ass in this thing. I mean, from beginning to end of this whole thing. I mean, it's just like
it felt like something that happened because it had to.
Yeah,
I did at the time.
It was a little forced.
When I watched it, I did. I was kind of angry at Star-Lord while I'm watching the movie, but it's one of those things when I got to think about it.
I knew he was going to hit Thanos. I mean, that just like that, Spider-Man and Black Panther are not dead. Hey, Spencer, what was your reaction to when Spider-Man died at the end and the other heroes died?
I felt like Spider-Man was probably the most, in a way, emotional because, like, from my perspective, I'm a year older than him, so I kind of have the perspective of someone being his age, and I was kind of like the first thing was like, man, I actually saw like Spider-Man die on screen, but I know he's gonna come back, but like I got really into the movie. I'm like, shit, I just watched like my childhood hero to die in front of me for a bit.
I thought Hugh Jackman as Logan was your childhood hero.
No.
I mean, Spencer, he's coming back though. Does that not cheat the emotion for you? I mean,
well, that's kind of like the thing of like being a comic book fan for like years. Like we always read comics, and there's always characters who die, and we're so numb to it. We know they're gonna come back anyway. So like that's how it basically feels for the movie. But like seeing that in live action form kind of like hits you in a different way.
Yeah. The fans demanded that I talk about Hulk. I saw it in
or lack thereof.
Lack of Hulk. So first off, I thought it was funny. The very first New York scene that Banner can't change into Hulk. I was like, well, I wonder what's up with this. This is different. I've not seen that happen in comics. And then throughout the whole movie, he can't change into Hulk because the Hulk is scared.
Yeah.
This from the character who just went up against Surtur in the Thor movie, went up against a werewolf. He is not scared. Why? I don't understand why there is lack of Hulk and the Hulk is scared. I don't get that. That's not the character I know.
Can I play devil's advocate on this point?
Yes,
Brad?
go ahead.
Okay. Remember, in the context of this Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Hulk is supposedly the strongest there is. He's never lost a fight. He's like, I'm, Hulk smash and all this stuff. This is the first time he's ever gone against a guy who's not only just probably arguably as strong as him, but actually knows how to fight. Because the Hulk is just pure brute strength. Thanos is like, he was doing his old little rope-a-dope thing, like doing like little strategic punches and everything like this and all this other stuff. So legitimately, that's the first time the Hulk has actually not only just been defeated, but been humiliated. And remember, in this context, the Hulk is kind of like more like an angry child and everything like that.
No,
that should piss the Hulk off.
That would make the Hulk angrier and stronger. That doesn't make him retreat into Banner. He hates Banner. He doesn't want to have Banner in control.
But here's the thing.
He wants round 2 with Thanos ASAP in the whole
here's the thing. You know that in the second in part 2 of this thing, and this is what I'm going to think, Banner's going to talk Hulk out of this thing, and what I'm thinking is going to happen, how they're going to probably end Banner's and Hulk storyline, they're going to merge and do like a Professor Hulk thing.
Are you thinking by then he'll have like extremist armor?
No. Not that bad.
Maybe the Hulk will get some stones that aren't infinity.
Yes,
So-
right.
See, here's why. And when I got into the movie, because I saw it before Jomo,
Yeah.
and he asked me what I thought about it, and I let him know without being spoilery. But I told him, I said, "There's going to be shit in here that you don't like."
Yep.
And I told him, I said, "I predict that you'll like it." I was wrong on that, by the way. Brad came back and said, "No, I give this
C
thing."
plus B minus out of me. I mean, I
And,
don't hate it.
Yeah, and so I expected you to go, I give it a B, like you do every other goddamn thing. So that's fully what I expected. But I figured you would like all the stuff that would drive me nuts, like Doctor Strange saying douchebag. You like it when anybody curses, including Aunt May. But the gist of it is, when I saw the Hulk in Iron Man armor, when I saw Bruce Banner in Iron Man armor, and then like the Hulk basically a coward, I was like, that's gonna piss Brad off.
Yeah.
That's going to piss Brad off a lot, maybe even more than how pissed I am at how badly they have fumbled Spider-Man.
I'll say this: Banner's one of my cons. I agree with you, Brad. I get what McNulty's saying, and I was going to use that. I was going to make the same point, but at the same time, I felt like Hulk kind of. I did like that Banner was kind of the fish out of water in this film. Because there's a lot of shit he missed. A lot of stuff happened since.
Well, from what I've seen, they edited out him busting out of that Hulkbuster armor to make him look wimpier. They even made a Funko Pop. Yeah. They made a Funko Pop of the Hulk busting out of the Iron Man armor.
I didn't get that at all. I didn't get how we didn't get the scene at the end of the trailer, end of every trailer where you had everybody in Wakanda rushing.
The Hulk's in the back.
The Hulk's in the background. Yeah, that was one of my cons. I felt like him and Steve got shortchanged, but my other con was how quickly they swept under the rug that Rhodey was paralyzed.
Oh yeah.
Well, remember, Civil War, everything's different. It's the same thing that, okay, except this. And this is fixed now. And that's fixed.
So my prediction for Banner and Hulk, it's kind of like what Mike said. One of my personal favorite Hulk comic moments is where Banner and Hulk are on the mental plane talking to each other.
Yeah.
Like, especially that Peter David scene where the Gray Hulk, the Green Hulk, and Banner, the Green Hulk is trying to smash through the mental wall, and the Gray Hulk and Banner are trying to stop him. Yep. I love a Banner and Hulk scene together. And they even did it in the 70s show. Married, where Marriott Hartley tries to hypnotize him to get rid of his demon, the Hulk. And the Hulk is in a desert. He's trying to get out of the gates, the prison gates. So when Banner was in the Hulkbuster armor and he says, "Hulk, we're going to have to talk," I immediately thought we're going to have a mental Hulk moment in 4. So I look forward to that. But the out of character Hulk really, really ticked me off.
I love Loki's line though. We have a Hulk.
Yeah, he's about to use that.
Comes in and kicks ass.
And Hulk just doesn't lose a fight that quickly. That was more.
It's where we're trying to build up Thanos, basically.
The movie needs to start with that because Hulk had been built up as, we have a Hulk. He's the trump card. And so for the general movie going audience, he needs to be defeated right away to show that, no, that's not going to work this time. This is a different ballgame.
But we complain about Slott doing that, advancing the plot at the sake of the characters. And that's what that movie did for me.
Yeah. And also, we just, we talked about this just a minute ago or so. But even if Thanos is going to beat Hulk that quickly, all that's going to do is piss Hulk off more.
Yep.
Everything about the Hulk leading up to this movie, the last 10 years or not 10 years, but almost 10 years of Hulk being in the Marvel universe, he's gotten more and more mad. He has never, met some. There's been things that annoy him, and he just leaves.
Yeah.
But and that's consistent with the comics. But there's never been anything that cowers him, that makes him go, "Oh no, I can't do this, I can't do it."
Yeah.
So for this to happen, it makes no damn sense. The Hulk would get up after a couple of minutes, shake that off, and go pound on him and be even stronger.
Hornacek asked, should Hulk be able to beat Thanos, who has 2 of the Infinity Stones? No, Hulk should, as seen in the comic, Thanos has got him by the throat, but he's not giving up. and that's Professor Hulk.
Yeah.
So Hulk will fight till he's unconscious.
If Professor Hulk, who has the or what was believed to be at the time the mind of Bruce Banner,
yeah,
at the time is going to stand and fight Thanos. Oh my God, what do you think Savage Hulk is going to do?
Yep.
I mean, Thanos may kill Savage Hulk, but Savage Hulk not going to stop fighting.
Nope. Right. Nope. He's not going to go in the corner and hide.
And the more Thanos hits him, the madder and more pissed off and stronger he's going to get.
Yes.
Thanos. I think Thanos with 2 Infinity Stones wins the fight, but I don't know that he doesn't walk away with like a bloody face and maybe like a broken arm or something.
He was beating.
Oh, that must have. I mean, that must have really angered you, George, when Tony Stark actually drew blood on Thanos.
Dude, you don't know. This whole thing is a Tony Stark fan fiction. I mean, it's just it's like Feige was like, my God, I have a dream, and that dream is to build an entire Marvel Cinematic Universe around one person. Yeah, I think Feige's accomplished that, and I'm just, oh God, I'm so damn tired of it.
Power Pack in the chat, he says Hulk was beaten unconscious. Yes, he was, but he gets up again.
I literally said then he should get up after like a minute or two.
Yes, he should get back up, and he should not cower inside Banner's brain.
I literally said that, Brad. I
think what it really was is that they just did not have the bandwidth to really include the Hulk, and so it is kind of getting pushed back to the second.
I mentioned Steve doesn't get a lot of screen time in this movie.
Yeah, he doesn't.
There was some people that fell to the wayside. Steve, I felt, I was surprised we got to Wakanda as late in the movie as we did.
I was too, actually. I was a little surprised by that. Yeah.
That was something that I was like, man, we just now getting to Wakanda. I mean, we've been at this for a while.
Hornacek, I'm talking about he should get back up after he gains consciousness. When Thanos' minions are in Wakanda, the Hulk should want to fight.
Anyway. I'm curious as to how many of the Asgardians are alive besides Thor.
Definitely not Loki.
We don't talk about that.
They're going to do the Doctor Strange wax on wax off where they rewind time. But
they're not doing it with Loki. I read a thing with Feige. And he was talking about how emotional it was on the set with Hiddleston, basically saying, yeah, Hiddleston's not coming back.
Yeah.
So I think and Idris Elba didn't want to come back either. Idris Elba has already been like, dude, I've done the Marvel movies. I'm ready to move on.
Yeah.
So I think both of them are actually officially dead. I think if Loki comes back, it may be a chick.
JR and Spencer, did you mind the Hulk things as much as I did, or did you care about the Hulk?
I didn't mind it as much because like it would just been like it would have been like the movie would have been like done really quickly, just have Hulk come in and kick his ass, and like we needed a movie to watch. So
JR, what do you think?
They probably could have. I mean, I agree with Ashley. They had to take the Hulk off the table, early. But I think they could have done it a little bit better. He didn't have to go down so quickly and like a bitch. Should have taken him out of the, sending to Earth quicker or something like that. But it could have been handled better.
Yeah. Well, have we missed any other? We've discussed this movie for about an hour and 15. Any other thoughts before we wrap it up?
I have a final argument that I am going to make a stand on.
Okay.
This is a standalone movie. Just because we end on a loose scenario doesn't mean that it's not a complete movie. I mean, look at friggin' Fellowship of the Ring.
Mm-hmm.
That is clearly part of a bigger story, but it is a complete movie in that it has a thematic resolution. All of the themes and kind of mini conflicts set up within that movie are completed and resolved for the most part by the end. We kind of see it through. And then that's the same feeling I get from Infinity Wars, that we end on a loose scenario. We don't see how are they going to defeat Thanos, but that's not what this movie was about. We see what was set up. The whole point was him getting the Infinity Stones and him carrying out what he set out to do.
I think that this movie accomplishes the feat of getting people engaged even more so. I've seen more people talk about this movie on social media and how they're conflicted on how they feel about it.
What? Are you? How? What? How are they conflicted? Are we like, okay, Spider-Man's dead? Am I happy or sad about that? For F's sake, what are you talking about?
It is a controversial ending.
You're pissing me off.
It's magic. They don't have to explain anything.
No, what
we know how this is going.
Zach is saying he's seeing a lot of discussion on this movie more than
I know. I'm just saying, what the hell's wrong with these people?
There's a lot of people out there that are like, I'm not sure if I like this movie or if I love this movie. And I think that's
whoa. If I don't,
because people aren't used to seeing that kind of
if I only like it or if I love it.
No, if they love it or hate it.
No, that's not what Zach said. Zach
said love it or hate it.
No, he said love it or no, he said like it or love it.
Oh,
I meant love it or hate it. You know.
Okay, I was about to say that's ridiculous. Okay, no, okay, if that's what you're talking about, I can see that. I was like, what the hell? How are you conflicted?
No. What I mean is there's a lot of people that were shocked by the ending, in the John Q public that were shocked by that ending. And they didn't know how they felt about it. And I think it's enticing more people. They're like, God, I gotta see the ending now.
Action Gamer in chat says the ending traumatized me. No. Action Gamer, how did it traumatize you?
And I will say too, we're talking about how the deaths at the end with the snap didn't have any impact. And like, the writers going into this, they are well aware of what's information is out there with an upcoming phase. So they ended the film where it did to kind of emphasize the gravity of the situation that, we know they're coming back, but this is where we're ending. So you kind of feel the resonance of that loss that, wow, there was really kind of, this is a big deal.
I will outside of Black Panther and Spider-Man, I feel like it created a lot of massive questions on what's next.
I will say here's my question. This is help me out with this because it's so goddamn obvious. They've already announced there's going to be more Spider-Man movies. They've already announced there's going to be more Black Panther movies. They've already announced there's going to be more Guardians movies. I'm like, do you really think Marvel's going to do a Guardians movie without a Groot? You think they're going to do a Guardians 3 without a Groot? Seriously, think of all the lost merchandising. I mean, are there people really out there who are like, oh my God, is Spider-Man really gone? Are there really people like that?
Yes, I think so.
Yes,
well, I don't understand
how it was.
But I really think there are.
How does that happen?
I will say this. I am impressed with the fact that they did decide to basically have Thanos actually literally snap his fingers and wipe out half the universe, like they did in the actual comics thing. Yeah, that was good.
The fact that to me, I think it's a little better in the comic than the comic, simply because the comic gets early in the story, and this does it in the middle.
Especially the way Josh Brolin delivers the line, goes gone for the head and goes like that.
When I watched this, I kind of felt this movie is more of the Thanos quest two-parter. You know, where he went around and he gathered the stones, and I bet you the Infinity Gauntlet storyline is more accurate of the ending of it. But I don't think Nebula's going to get the gauntlet hand like in
but the thing is, one of the heroes is going to get the gauntlet. No, you know what? It may be
Tony Stark. Tony Stark's going to get the hand.
No,
Tony Stark will get the gauntlet back and then sacrifice himself.
Hang
himself on a celestial cosmic cross.
Here's how they're going to potentially do it. They're going to have all the this is why I'm this weird prediction time thing. Notice how there's like the original 6 Avengers are still alive. Each one of those are going to probably have an Infinity Stone. How are they going to get Infinity Stone? They're going to go back in time and get one before Thanos was able to obtain one.
Well, they're going to go back in time, but only like once or something.
They're going to use Ant-Man to do it because they're going to do like a thing where they're going to go through somehow the quantum realm will reveal, hey, it allows for time travel to be possible.
Well, I mean, how do people watch this movie and think, oh my God, they just killed Black Panther, but they just brought him in? Well, of course, that's the whole point. He's not really dead. Exactly, he's going to get better. For F's sake, are there really people that think that?
I think there are, George. I really do.
Oh my God.
That I really do. Why are you shocked that people are really think this?
I don't know. I don't know. And Hornacek brings up a good point. He's like, are we living in a bubble here? The way that we look at it and the way that they look at it, because that's true. I mean, we're kind of insular here, but at the same time,
It goes back to being smart fans versus non.
At the same time, I mean, we cover movie news here. We know that. Oh yeah, there's going to be a Black Panther. You know, Black Panther's getting a sequel. Doctor Strange is getting all this stuff's getting a sequel. And I guess that stuff that maybe like the just the normal average moviegoer doesn't like read on a news website or something like that. They just go, oh my god, they just killed Black Panther, and I'm like,
they probably so.
It's okay, he'll be back. Wait 5 minutes. I'm sorry, actually.
Something else to consider is that the characters in the actual context of the movie, in the universe, they don't know who's coming back, and so that's something else to kind of pay attention to. That. How are they going to react to it? And that it's not just these characters dying, that has an effect on people around them. So I think that's a more interesting aspect of it.
Last point I'll make on this. I think there are tiers of fans. Okay. I think there's fans like us in one tier where we know the ins and outs of how this works. And we know a lot of how we speculate a lot on how the business works. We lose Brad.
Nope. Or did we? I don't know if we did or not. He just looks like
Brad. Are you?
Well,
there?
our host is gone.
Yeah,
our host is gone for the moment.
No rules.
Brad just
That's awkward.
Well, yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Zach, you've got.
I got the floor. All right. So I think there's the top tier of the fans like us that we're we're knowledgeable about both the comics and the movies. Then you have the tier of fan that's just knowledgeable on the movies. They probably follow all the news stories like what you're talking about there, George. And then you got fans that are casual fans that love the movies, but they don't follow it the way the other two tiers do.
Sure.
And I think that's where the Hulk pissed him off that much. That's what I think I said on the chat.
No, I think he just got disconnected. He's messaging me now. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like I say, I think that there's, with those tiers of fans, I think there's and I think, well, let's face it, probably the biggest group of those fans is that bottom group where, they're not going to know what's next. They're going to ask people like us, hey, what's next and what's supposed to happen? They'll come to us and ask those questions. I went with my roommate and I went with my two best friends. They're not, my two best friends are not comics fans. Okay. My roommate and I obviously are. And so we know how this thing works and everything like that. So they're asking a million questions when we're walking out the theater because, he's like, well, Stormbreaker and this and Beta Ray Bill. And I'm like, yeah, those things could happen. I said, just based off of what we know with what's been announced, we know that there's going to be an Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. We know there's going to be, I anticipate that Michael Douglas is going to bite the dust, but
who cares?
He'll turn to dust. Yeah.
Who cares at this point, dude? They've already screwed up Hank Pym. They've already screwed up Jan. They already did. Who cares?
I will say this opens a very excellent door.
Huh?
This opens an excellent door. Iron Fist can disappear.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I did post that on Facebook today. That some satire site said,
"Take that out, Netflix. Take it."
See now,
that Iron Fist has been turned to dust.
Can we use the Infinity Stones?
Bye, Danny.
Bye.
To redo Iron Fist.
Oh, yes.
It might have been worth it. It might have been worth it in that case to have a terrible Spider-Man and to have a cowardly Hulk.
Oh, and we can erase the Inhumans from existence while we're at it. They're probably gone too. No, that human show.
From what I've heard, that's already about to be. And folks, by the way, we're stalling for time until Brad can get back.
Right? Yeah.
I've heard in the comics that's already about to. I don't want to segue out of this, but I'll segue for the sake of time. But aren't they like about to getting ready to like kill the Inhumans off in the comics or something?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It's like suddenly they got the Fox rights back, and they're like, we don't need these guys. They're now expendable.
Right. But here's an interesting question because this is a thing I've been seeing a lot about this. Which film would you, if you had to compare these two, which one would you like better? Avengers: Infinity War or Star Wars: The Last Jedi?
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, but no, both of them were pieces of crap.
Yeah, but if you could have to compare the two.
Last Jedi was.
I'm more a Marvel fan than a Star Wars fan, so that's easy.
I wanted to write my congressman after I got out of Last Jedi. I was like, this. I feel like my constitutional rights.
Last Jedi was crap. I mean,
what did I miss?
Crap.
What did I miss?
I asked him which was better. Was Avengers: Infinity War or Star Wars: The Last Jedi?
Last Jedi.
I've seen that comparison.
Last Jedi.
What? Really?
You're high.
Yeah. So what happened was there was a little piece of lint on my keyboard next to my sleep button, and I hit the sleep button and everything went south real dang quick.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Unbelievable.
I was looked down and I saw like one of the boxes like go away, and I went,
yeah, that's me.
It said Thanos has killed you.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you notice I wanted to hug Tony Stark? I didn't want to go.
So
okay, let's wrap this show up, gang. Final thoughts, Zach.
Last thing we need to discuss.
Go ahead, Ashley.
The post-credit scene.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I love the fact that they were able to work in a mother bleeper. I'll keep the Douglas.
Yeah, that was cool.
That they actually worked that in. I mean, that's
mother. Yeah, that was awesome.
I mean, come on.
And having the '90s Carol pager, because the show's set in the movie's set in the '90s. That was cool.
Yep.
It made me apprehensive.
I'm so excited.
Well, I should be excited about Captain Marvel because I love Captain Marvel, but all it does is make me really, really worried about Captain Marvel now.
Were you worried about Black Panther?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. All right.
No.
All right. Final thoughts, Ashley. What's your final thoughts on the movie? Or on this whole show?
I loved it. I only have to wait a year to see the next part.
Okay. George, final thoughts.
This is another one of those Marvel movies that I don't feel compelled to go see a second time. And that's happening more and more often. And I had told you guys this, well, you guys knew this before, or I guess like early last week. I had forgot it was coming out. I've been so underwhelmed by everything I saw about this movie. I even posted it, I think, in our admin chat. I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing I forgot about. I guess that's happening this week.
Bernardo wants to know why you love Captain Marvel, George. You're the biggest Captain Marvel fan I know. You love Carol.
I love Carol. Carol she's always been just an ass kicker. She's always been proactive, always ready to do what needed to be done. And in a lot of ways, she's like the female cosmic Spider-Man. But no, I mean, I've always liked the character. She's been a strong, a female hero. And I think she's a good example, for those out there who want to look towards, like we always talk about diversity, about diversity on here and everything. And I'm like, well, what, just go with the diversity you have already. There's diversity right here. This is one of the original diversities in the Marvel universe.
Yeah. I like what Enigma just asked Ashley. When Thanos snapped his fingers, did Black Cat disappear? You know what happened when Thanos
no one can hurt her.
When Thanos snapped his fingers, that Silver Sable and Black Cat movie disappeared.
Oh, thank God.
Thank God.
Team Thanos. Destroy them.
Thanos forever, yeah.
Amy Pascal disappear too.
Yeah. JR and Spencer, final thoughts.
I enjoyed it.
Yep. JR, any final thoughts on this episode?
Really, like I said, a lot of mixed feelings about it. Epic movie, but I really have no interest in seeing it again. Where does it rank on your Avengers list? 1, 2, or 3?
2.
4.
It's because you're including Civil War in there. I see what you said.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But if you're talking about like the Russo brothers in terms of their films, I kind of I prefer Winter Soldier and Civil War over this one.
Oh yeah.
But I think it'll be really interesting when part 2 or whatever that's going to be called comes out. It'd be interesting to see if how these things, what they are like back to back.
You just gave me a good idea, Mike. Mike, final thoughts, and then I'm going to ask a round table before we wrap it up. Mike, final thoughts.
I like the movie. I think I wouldn't necessarily put it in my top 5 or anything, but I think in terms of what it tried to accomplish, I think it did okay. But I mean, but like I said before, if you're looking at it as a kind of like the equivalent of an event comic, it kind of accomplishes that in both its best and worst aspects.
Zach, final thoughts.
Enjoyed the film. probably more than anybody on this panel.
I liked it.
I mean,
You and Ashley were the biggest fans. Yeah.
I gave it a higher grade than you.
Excuse me, Ashley. I sincerely apologize.
Thank you.
Ashley is so triggered right now, man. Ashley's been feisty.
Okay.
She's actually fought me better tonight than you have, Zach.
Ashley is the anti-Hulk.
You could take lessons from Ashley. Let Ashley.
Let Zach have his final thoughts. Zach,
let Ashley be your Captain Marvel.
Go, Zach.
Oh,
I feel
honored.
I feel we had a really healthy debate though tonight. I feel like that the show was lively. We've had to smite some people on our YouTube chat. Unfortunately,
That's a first. That's a
No,
first.
we've done that.
We've muted some people before because they're rude. Yeah,
Yeah, it was early on though. Yeah,
but I feel that we did our job, which was to have points and counterpoints, and I enjoyed the lively debate.
Mike just gave me an idea, and I'm going to ask everyone to give their idea of what the next Avengers movie is going to be called. My guess, it's going to be called Avengers Assemble because Cap was cut off at the end of the second one. He said Avengers, credit roll. Avengers Assembled is my guess. Zach, what's your guess of the next title?
I'm going to guess Endgame.
Okay.
Because of what Strange said towards the end. Said this is the Endgame.
Mike, what's the next Avengers movie title?
Well, Avengers Assemble is a good one, but I'm going to try to go a little bit riskier and say Avengers Forever.
Avengers Forever. That'd be a good one.
Like Batman Forever?
Well, no, like the Kurt Busiek story thing.
You should have a seal come in and say Avengers with a rose.
Death from a rose.
Rose on a grave. Okay, JR, what's the name of the next Avengers movie?
No one really died.
This time, it's for real.
Hornacek says it should be called Avengers and Robin.
Logan Graycraft said it should be called Senpai Noticed Me. Yes.
Spencer, what should the next Avengers movie be called?
Avengers Endgame.
There you go. George, what should... Oh, this ought to be good. George, what should it be called?
Avengers 4, Passion of the Stark.
Yeah, that's funny.
And in the end, we're going to have Tony Stark finally realizing his ultimate his self-sacrificing fantasy, trying to feel like he's not a douchebag.
George, no, they will not kill off. They will not kill off Tony Stark. Instead, they'll end it with the wedding of Tony Stark and Pepper Potts.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah,
I think
they're totally going to do
more accurate. I don't think Tony's dying, George. Passion of the Stark. That's great. Ashley, what's your Avengers title?
George is dead.
I'm crap with titles, so I'm just throwing my lot in with Endgame.
Okay.
So we got three. Hey, we got three people saying it's going to be Endgame.
There you go.
I'm confident now.
Avengers Stark Reaction from Action Game.
Yeah.
By the way, I officially feel that the title of Spidey Dude's clone has now been passed to Spencer since he's wearing the hoodie.
Oh, speaking of bullshit characters, our very own Chi-Town Spidey. While we've been doing this, just moments ago, sent me a Facebook message, and it's basically just a pile of ash, a fine powder, and it says, "Hey, have you seen my new Spider-Man cosplay?"
Nice.
And he wrote on there "too soon?" ?
Chi-Town, you are just a clone of George, and I can't handle that.
All right. Hey, YouTubers watching us, all 35 right now. We're going to be back in about 10 minutes. We're going to review 3 books. We're going to review ASM 799 and the Spec 303 and also the Free Comic Book Day. The first Amazing Spider-Man book not written by Slott in 10 years. Boom.
I can breathe.
Boom. You want to hear our reactions on that? Join us.
Whoa. Hang on. Christos Gage has written ASM issues without Slott.
Oh, that's true. I'm sorry.
I don't want to drag you down, Brad. I'm
sorry.
You just crushed Brad's hopes and dreams.
I'm sorry, Brad.
Brad Smash. He's not retreating yet.
The whole cast performance issues, and Brad's wrong on a point.
I guess. Sorry, everybody. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Everybody, take
All
a
right.
break. We'll be back.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Oh, Brad, I'm not sure if I might have to cut out here, actually, unfortunately. So,
Okay. All right.
but I will leave you. I will be eager to hear you guys' reviews.
All right, man.
Okay. Okay.
See you, buddy.
Talk to you later. Great
Thanks.
podcast, guys. I'll see you
You
guys
too, man.
later.
Bye.
All right.
Like,
Bye.